I haven't shared the damn screen.
Jesus.
Audio. Turn up the audio. Jake, turn up the audio.
So it is.
Fuck it. We've been on Riverside.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Why am I muted?
I don't know.
My mute. Oh, hold on. I'm muted too.
That's a hell of a way to start this one off, man. But,
All right.
Good.
Bravo, gentlemen.
We're here. We're here. There's always going to be a fuck up at the intro. I don't know why.
That's the way we
Cheers
do
to that.
around here.
Yeah.
Live happens.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
At least we got a good one today, guys.
Shit,
we've
hold
got...
on. Hey, come over here.
Yeah, he's got his dog.
No.
See,
Mute
my
me for a
dog's
second.
out
I'll be
there.
right back.
Yeah,
My
no
dog,
Get over here.
see, so we both have dogs from the same litter. My
Yeah.
dog's over there just shitting it up in the hallway. His dogs are out there causing mayhem.
Yeah. I understand that.
God, yeah, they went right for the damn mayhem too.
Today we're gonna have a good one for everybody because today we got the creator of Polar Destroyer with us.
Hell
So,
yeah.
he just
I
showed up
can't
in the
wait.
back, so we're gonna bring him
got-
on.
We got questions. He's in the back. Hell
He's in the
yeah.
back.
Let's go.
Here we
Everybody,
go.
welcome up Alex Osborne.
What's going
What's going
on,
on?
Alex?
Hey, what's up?
How's it
Dude,
going, man.
we have been talking about this book for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. And I got the cool cover. Jake
Yeah, I
is
know.
so fucking jealous.
I'm jealous
Jake,
of that cover.
Tell him how jealous you are of this fucking cover.
I've heard.
I am beyond jealous because as soon as he showed it and was like, "Yeah, I reached out to him and talked to him for a little bit," and he was like,
I
"Yeah,
was
I
like-
can send you that cover instead." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, fuck yourself."
I was like, yeah, dude, I just hit him up. And he was like, yeah, fucking send you that cover. No big deal. Just fucking put in the message. And I was
It
like,
was,
you got it.
It was more important to me that somebody would back it and buy it than it was to like finagle about which cover somebody got.
I hear
Dude,
that.
I fucking saw this cover. And this cover is what sold me, I would say 80%. Because I saw this cover and I don't know what it was. This cover spoke to me and I had to have it. And so, and I know when we're looking at backing and numbers and everything gets close, it's kind of like, we got multiple covers. But I really, really, really wanted this fucking cover. And this cover fucking rocks.
Yeah, that's by my friend Frederick Hornen out of Germany.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is
dude.
that a G.I. Joe homage?
It's just he took inspiration from Cable and sort of did it that way. And then a lot of the stuff on there is like ripped up pieces from issue 1 and like panels, like parts of panels from issue 1. So it's like
Oh,
super,
yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
awesome.
I love
The
that
whole
classic.
So we'll get into it, but the Fund My Comic and the way they do it, they don't have a choose your cover option. So when I went to Fund My Comic, I did not want to make 40 different tiers of like combinations of stuff, and based on the circumstances that I was given, and I was trying to do things really quickly, I had what I had, and I was like, all right, this is just what it's going to be. So I know going forward, next time with issue 3, I'm going to have a less is more approach. I'm going to have, because they still don't, to my knowledge, they still don't have a choose your cover.
That's right.
So
yeah, because you had this option as like a cover, but it was a standalone. In order to get issue 1, you had to back a different cover.
Well,
and my problem was like I wanted this cover, but I also wanted issue 1, but there wasn't a tier that had both of those.
Yeah, and when I do it, because I have more of obviously cover A's for both issues than I do the variant covers and stuff. So that's why the bundle was just both regular covers of issue 1 and 2, and that's probably what it'll be next time too, unless somebody asks and they want a different cover.
But yeah,
how was your? Because you've been on different platforms other than Fund My Comic, right?
Issue 1 was Kickstarter, and issue 2 was Fund My Comic.
How is your all around experience with Fund My Comic, with fulfillment and everything versus Kickstarter?
They both have their pros and cons.
I get you.
With Fund My Comic, they have an option to where it's not the pass or fail. You get what you get. So even if you don't make it, you still get what you raised. And so based on the
problem,
it can be, but based on the circumstances that I was going through, I needed a guaranteed W because I could not risk at that point not getting it funded based on things that were out of my control. And so they pay you, or at least with me, they paid like every 2 or 3 days. So like when people would pledge, they took the money and they sent it to me. So it wasn't like I got it all at once. I was getting a steady stream for that whole month, which kept the book going because I could still pay my artists while it was going, rather than like holding it out and waiting and then giving them and setting on this pile of money or whatever. And they only took 2%. I think it's down to like 1% now. I think the last time I checked, Kickstarter is 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's also like but I guess the concern that I had was like, oh man, the book is getting funded, but is that going to cover all the different covers? And so I was kind of like, oh, man, I really hope I get this.
I'm operating in a red right now.
Exactly. That's the problem with like,
welcome to the club.
We've seen campaigns where they're like, okay, I got like 5 different covers. And even though the campaign funded, well, now they've still got to make 5 different covers. Now, when it comes to printing, you've got a minimum order quantity that you have to print for each cover in order to fulfill, with a reasonable price. Otherwise, you're paying twice as much for that one cover that those 3 guys backed, right? You're paying like twice as much, and so you're not making any money off of that. And
I'll tell you this much. I don't necessarily care about making money. It's more important to me that people read my book and buy my book and spread the word. And like, you got it. Like I always tell people, you have to love comics because it won't love you back. And I mean that in the sense that like, you can make this thing that's really rad, and I'm doing it. Maybe it's naive, but I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm doing it, and I use crowdfunding as a means of paying for this project to get it made. It's not a grift. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to I don't have delusions of grandeur. Like I'm literally just using this issue, and like I'm trying to get this whole thing funded and go it like as it goes. And so I sell my book for $5, dude. And it's just like, it's a cup of coffee, and it should based on what the money that I put in, it should be more, but I would rather somebody take a risk at buying it for $5 than I would like, oh, I got to make money and sell it for 15. Like, I don't care.
I will say this. We've looked at a lot of books, and we have seen and found some grifts, right, that we called out, and we're just like, this looks like a grift, man. And then we're justified because later on,
maybe having that conversation a little later on here, actually depends on how much we have to drink.
Yeah, exactly. We might be talking about that
later.
Oh,
we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, but when it comes to grifts, I've got a good nose when it comes to looking at some of these books. And when I started looking at Polar Destroyer, we looked at it, and I'm like, this is interesting. This looks cool. The more we looked into it, the more I was like, this is a fucking solid book right here. Now, we had a lot of questions about this book.
Sure.
But never once did the idea of this is a grift ever come across. No. Once.
Yeah.
This
you can tell the passion going on and what you're doing with that.
Yeah.
I don't even agree with the approach that you have with your monetization goals with that. I don't agree with that. I think you should be making money. But that having been said, I love where your head is at. And I do wish more people would look at what they do from the standpoint of it being a passion project rather than it being a, potential financial windfall.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think that another thing as well is that like I jumped into this like feet first into the deep end. Like if you want, I'll take you back to how all this started. So
what year?
I'm really curious.
What year did you begin Polar Destroyer?
2012.
Okay.
Oh wow.
into
Okay.
2013. I was working retail, right? And so I was on like truck days. I worked this like, it was mundane job, like just trying to like pass the time with like, coworkers or whatever, and you'd shoot the shit or whatever. And I've always had a bit of an imagination anyways, like just growing up, I'm an only child, came from like, my parents were split. So I spent a lot of time by myself. So I always used imagination and like creative writing and that sort of thing. And so like, even in high school and into college, I was very wordy, and I like, people would always be like, "Oh man, you should be a writer." And like, I never had aspirations to be a writer by any means. I've read comics my whole life and this, that, and the other. But the original idea was like an homage 80s classic, like, action movies, and be as a polar bear that goes to the North Pole and like, is slaughtering all these penguins, right? That was kind of just like whatever. And then as it's just like one of those things that sort of like stuck in my brain and never went away. And like, I just kept chipping away at it and kept thinking of ideas. The original pitch was a video game. And there's still some of that in the books, or
I can see
so
that.
far that you can see like
Yeah,
how it,
I
like,
want to see more of that.
because you were talking about the pacing of how things were. I know that like last week you talked about how issue 1 opened up with those 4 panels that are a flashback. I don't typically like that, but you were correct. And I was trying to sell a book. I paid for those first 4 pages. I'm jumping ahead here, but I paid for those first 4 pages out of pocket. And my thought process was, if this fails, I will at least have a proof of concept of these 4 pages of what it could look like, and I can take
Oh, yeah.
down the road.
That is
smart.
that is one of the top 2 reasons that I can 100% sign off on doing exactly what you did.
Actually, that's got to be one of the best responses to any of our critiques ever.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
If in a perfect world, if I could do it again, I would not open with those 4 pages. I would open up as it is. But again, like I did this with like, I don't want to say no help, but I had no idea. I knew that I could do comics, but I didn't know how to do comics, right?
Sure.
All you got to say on that is like, next time you hear us saying something like that, you just gonna be like, "Bro, Sin City, fuck off."
Yeah. So I had it pitched as a video game, and I don't know if you've ever played Shank or Shank 2, but it was very inspired by that. So it's a side scroller, like beat 'em up with that same art style. And so for like 2 years, I sort of mulled over on it, and then I found if you on the interior of issue 1, you see that sketch, the original sketch that I had. This guy named Rick Sealis. I found him on like Reddit or Instagram, and his whole like art style is Batman the Animated Series. And I was like, I'm gonna reach out to this guy and let's just see like what I can work with, give him my character description of Jack, and see what he can come up with. And then he came up with that black and white sketch. We went with it, and then I got the colored version too. And so I had that, and I was like, well, shit, this is rad as hell. And then I sort of like, well, I need a bad guy, right? I need a bad guy. And let's sort of at that time, it was very homage heavy. And so obviously 001 is an homage to Bane, obviously, in the way that he looks. And yes, Oswald does come from, the penguin.
Oswald.
So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
back.
So
that's actually that's a good callback. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's one of the questions we have. Where's Jack come from?
So it's the North Pole, Jack Frost.
I called it.
You did.
Yeah, you called it.
And obviously
that's fair.
And so Martha is also an homage, because at the time, Martha was, Bruce Wayne and
Martha.
So it's all
right.
sort of like, kind of like a mixing pot of stuff. So
I
got
like little Easter eggs.
I got Oswald and 001 and I had Jack finished. And so I'm like, all right, okay, cool. And then I just kept like chipping away at it. And I have an entire synopsis of like how the entire story goes, like from issue 1 to issue 5. The opening to issue 1 is issue 4, not issue 5. Because Oswald is the final boss. 001 is the sub boss.
Yeah.
So if you look at it structured in like a Mortal Kombat way, like 001 is the Goro, and then
that's how you started the whole series. That means that's the way.
I mean, it's fair. Yeah, it's fair. So in truth be told, I've sort of put myself into I've got to work my way out of a hole here because I've got to get to that part in 4, which is where we're working towards now. But I've got an entire issue to get there, right? So I've got all of 3 and then 4. So it was probably about so then like I had the entire thing mapped out of like what I wanted to do for the first part. I have ideas for what would be the second saga and then a third saga, but like, you know, that was just like dreams at this point. And so I just like would off and on, I would, you know, when I'd get in like creative spaces, I'd write a little bit and then, or, you know, I'd jot down stuff like notes or whatever. And then it wasn't until I guess 2021, so like COVID hits and then like everybody wants to do something, right? But I went to a local Comic-Con that was like old school Comic-Con, like that you would do in like ballrooms and stuff where people like set up and have like, you know, all their long boxes and stuff. And like all their old like action figures and stuff, like old school, like not like celebrities. And like, this is like old school style.
And Corpus Christi Comic-Con. It sounds like that's what I'm hearing.
And, so I was walking around and I came across this table, and I'm not like shitting on anybody because this shit is hard to do. Like it's hard to do, but like I saw like what indie comics were, or like what indie creators were doing like in my area. And I was like, I could do this. Like, I know that I could do this and I can do this better. And it's a little bit, it's arrogant, but I was like, I know I have that confidence in myself that I could do it. So I went to Reddit and I was like, okay, I've got to find somebody. And like, anytime you like post on Reddit, it's like, I need an artist. Like you just get like bombarded with stuff.
Yep.
So go to Fiverr is what they say.
Yeah. So eventually I came across this artist named Hugo, and I reached out to him and we were talking, and sorry, hold on just a second. I'm trying to exit this out. Stop. So I came across this guy Hugo and I messaged him. We started talking back and forth, and like he gave me a price of like what I was like, I just need like what would potentially be a cover, and that's what the main cover number 1. So it's the orange. It's the what became cover A for issue 1.
That's this one, right?
Yeah, so that was the first piece that Hugo did for me, and then so we started talking, and he was basing that off of the original sketch that I had done by Rick, and then we started talking, and then like I was like, okay, like he's like, give me a script, and then we can go. I was like, okay, so like now I've got to do this, and for the first time I had to take and like steer it in an actual direction and write a comic script, which I'd never done before. And so I'll tell you this much. I've never read a how to write comics this way or how to write it this way, or like, here's what you got.
There's no real set standard,
because there are no rules to comics. You can say there is, but there are no rules. There's no right
like
or wrong way.
The Marvel method, and then there's like a lot of other ways.
Wanted my thing to either pass or fail on its own merit. I don't want it to be, well, this is what it would be like if Scott Snyder wrote Polar Destroyer, or this is what it would be like if so-and-so did Polar Destroyer. No, this is what Alex Osborne did with Polar Destroyer because it's my idea and this is the way I want it to be. So I've read comics my whole life. I know how they work. I know how they are paced and all that sort of shit. And so I was like, all right. So like I just jumped in and I wrote a draft and then sent it to him, and then we worked on it back and forth. And then I was like, okay, let's go with it. And then I was like, well, now I got to figure out how to work Kickstarter. And then I was like, well, I need something to show. So I was like, I'm going to pay you up front for 4 pages, first 4 pages of that. And I was like, this is what we're going to do. And what I'm going to do, I guess it was naive at that point, is like, I'm going to take, I was very upfront and very transparent because I'm a very transparent person. And the disclaimer was the money that I get goes to pay the artist to get it made. And like, I'll figure it out as I go. Like, again, like I'd never done any of this before. I just jumped in. And so that's what it was. And I went through that whole process with Kickstarter. It got approved. Awesome. Everything is going great. The night before, I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm going to make $10,000 because that's what I set my budget as. And so I changed it from $10,000 to $5,000. And because I'm a nobody, like I'm like a nobody.
That's a rough call. That's we've seen that before.
10 grams difficult.
Yeah.
They set their goal either too high or too low. Like some people are like, well, I want $100 goal because I'm going to make $100,000. And so my goal is going to end up being like 1,000%, and
yeah. Those numbers look good.
Yeah, they look good and it makes people want to back. But then also, if you don't make those numbers, you also want to set a goal that's like realistic in case, you can't make if you don't have a realistic goal, then if you don't make that realistic goal, you're not going to be able to fulfill it without pulling from like deep in your pockets, and then that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So
as an early creator with my first 2 issues, I would look at other people's campaigns and see what ones had more backers on it. And then I would adjust that to how many pages I'd be putting in a book and be like, well, more people are going to the $5,000 goal and it's working, it's funding. Where $10,000, you might get the backing, but as soon as that's fulfilled, nobody's coming after it.
Yeah.
So
I saw somebody set their goal at $100,
dude. Just
but
copy paste what you see.
They needed like at least $5,000 to make that comic happen, and they only made like $300. But they fulfilled their goal, so they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're going to lose support, and that really hurt those guys.
So back then, when Twitter was still useful, that was a whole nother exhaustive thing because I'm not a personality, man. Like I'm not a kiss ass. I'm not going to do whatever. I'm not a car salesman, to my own detriment in a lot of ways, but. Like I presented you with this badass thing. Like I mean, I'll tell you everything you want to know about it, but like I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make that a horse drink. So like, and then you have a lot of that, you guys know how it is. And so like, it's getting real close and I'm probably like 1,000 away at this point. Like, you have when it's your first campaign, you're like checking it like all the time. And then like, as it goes on, you check it less and less and less. And I think we're like 10 days out or something. And like, I'm 1,000 away. And then, I don't know if you know who Cliff Bleszinski is. He's the creator of Gears of War.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he saw it. A buddy of mine had retweeted it, and he saw it, retweeted it to like 750,000 of his followers, and backed it. And then that put it over the edge. Like literally, that put it over the edge because then like I got it within like a day.
That's
awesome.
Which, ironically enough, led to him being on my podcast like 2 years ago. And I even brought it up to him, and he had no recollection of it, none whatsoever. Which was even funny at that because I was like, "Thanks." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
That's great.
And so like that put it over the edge. But even then, that 5,000 was not what I needed because that didn't even take into account what printing was. Mm-hmm. And I had got a sample done, like a 10-page sample from a company, and I did not like it. So then I went with Comics Wellspring, which is who did issues 1 and 2, and I love the quality of that book. I think it is just like a stellar book. I probably could have on the printing, but here's the thing: I did not want to cut any corners when I did this because I wanted the best possible version of this book to be available because I had no idea if it would happen, and I had no idea if like I would do it again. I wanted to desperately, but also Hugo watched your thing last week, and he was flattered that you thought it was AI, but there is absolutely no AI in my book.
Yeah, okay, that I gotta say something about that. When we looked at these campaigns, AI being what it is now, we're looking at campaigns, and obviously there's a lot of artists using AI.
Sure.
We are looking at this thing going, that technique is like, it's very unique. It's like inspired and almost too perfect. And so your instant inclination is to go towards AI. But I will say this: when I got the book in hand, there was no doubt.
Yeah.
There was no AI involved. It was like we're looking at grayscale, black and white and stuff before the coloring. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at every little detail of the artwork. And I'm like, there's no way this guy came up with this on his own. There has to be some AI or some. But then when I got the book, I was like, no, dude, you can tell when you see the pages. It's, I don't know what it is. Something about the difference between. There's also
very good.
Yeah, and that's the
He's
other
very good.
part. That's the other part of that. When you have somebody on that level for a book that's like funding on the like this guy, you guys should have been making $100K right on this
I agree.
campaign. The quality of this book is so good that you're looking at it and you're going, and you're looking at the funding and everything. And we are doing everything we can to push this thing.
I appreciate it.
But also like going, why isn't it better funding than this? Like, what the hell is going on?
Mhm.
Like, maybe there's something we're missing. I'm looking at it going like, I'm looking at the artwork, and I gotta say, man, I would love to talk to Hugo about some of his art, some of his artistic inclinations, because I'm looking at it going like, I've never seen anybody do something like that on their own accord. That's something that AI would put out, and then you would take as an artist and go like, that's a good idea, and then use it. But when I look at the pages, I'm like going, holy shit, like I was completely wrong. I'm looking at the pages and I can tell looking at the pages, at the actual pages, like, no, that's not AI at all.
I'll add to that and say that was Polar Destroyer was one of those ones where we spent the most time, because AI always comes into the conversation with art these days.
It was
It's
like
you
too
can't
good to
not
be
have
true for the
that. This was the longest that we had ever had that conversation without any. It's either like you can kind of tell because there's some flaws, or you can really tell it's AI because there's the obvious AI things. And this just wasn't hitting either one of those marks. Like the artwork was so good that it was like you really wanted to lean in the conversation of like, oh, well, this is probably AI. You know, maybe that's it. We stayed on that conversation so long because of the quality of the artwork.
Yeah.
And hey, Hugo, if he's watching after this, or if not, that's totally cool. I understand that, but let him know. Kudos to him, because he kept that conversation going. He kept us talking about AI for so long because of the quality of his work.
The quality is so good that these should be $100. I've seen $100,000 campaigns that did not look this good. Right?
You guys keep doing what you're doing, you will have $100,000 campaign.
We are playing the long game. So.
Yeah. And dude, you're like, I'm sorry, and it's unfortunate that the world has not caught up yet, because these are $100 campaigns. This is better than several $100,000 campaign books that I have backed.
Yeah.
I am a very humble person, and
far.
I do not take compliments well, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I'm a very self-deprecating person, but I don't
understand.
I am so satisfied with this book.
We've seen so many derivatives of other IPs that people like turn something a little bit different and make it their own.
Yeah.
This has been so original and so refreshing through all the stuff that we've gotten. I love Polar Destroyer. I'll be there for 3. There's no doubt in my mind. As soon as you say that campaign's ready to go, I'll be there, and we'll be promoting the shit out of it.
And
this was such a fun book. Artistic style. So Peter's the artist on this channel, right? And Stanley does some artistry stuff also. I'm on the writer side, and this book was just setting a bar where more people are going to have to get to.
I'm like, we're backing books all the time, and I'm backing campaigns that are in these $100,000 campaigns.
Same.
And I'm looking at this book going, what's the catch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at the artwork and I'm looking at the fucking story, and everything is like, what the fuck? This book is better. This looks way cooler than most of the stuff that I'm backing. And so I'm like, what's the catch? Like, what are they using? AI? You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm coming from. And I'm like, I'm looking at the pricing and everything. I'm like, okay, this artist is, there's something fishy going on. It has to be something fishy, right? But then no, I get this book, and in communication
all
with
the boxes, and you're like, no.
Yeah. Well, then on top of that,
that's not right.
we do a live stream, and then I get in communication with you, and you're like, hey man, if you want that cover, like just put it in the thing, and I'll make it happen. I was like, okay, so I put it in there, and I was just like, I just put it in there, forgot about it, and then when I got it in the mail, the first thing I fucking did, dude, I swear to God, when I pulled it out of the book, I was like, nah, where's my cover? And I got the fucking cover, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude! Like
It went
you
right
actually,
into the group chat.
you
right
didn't
into the
just
group
like,
text.
you didn't just bullshit me and say, yeah, bro, whatever. I got dude, exactly what I was looking for. This fucking perfect. When I read it, I was like, this is entertaining. This is fucking cool. This is what comics are all about. What's the fucking catch? And the catch is, like, you guys haven't got nearly the audience. Yeah, we've got to get you guys.
Yeah, you just
like
got to get in front of people.
blown the fuck up there, because it's woefully tragic that y'all are not in the $100,000 plus category, because you beat about 80% of the books that I have backed. And I'm a guy who backs books based off of like inclination and what I think, and I'll back a lot of stuff. This is one of those books that I was kind of like, this is better than what it
like it's
deserves.
as good as like
what's getting.
this humility aside here, like it's as good as shit that's on like Big Two stuff. Like I'm not saying it's better, but like it's
This can
essential.
go.
Oh,
You
we
can
can go
hold
up
your
next
own.
to
You
him.
can go toe
We
to
can go
toe
right
with them.
next to him,
Bro.
no doubt.
Like you're looking at like
yeah.
mid '90s image,
Damn it.
like quality.
Well, so I've got like Bankston Comics in here in Waco, right? I go to they've got a indie section, they've got a DC, Marvel, all that shit, right? This goes toe to toe with almost anything on any of the shelves, Marvel, DC, Indie, IDW, whatever, like Dark Horse. This goes toe to toe with all of them, because I go and check them out and I look at what the fuck everyone's doing these days in comics. This definitely fucking is more interesting than Marvel's, whatever Marvel's putting out. It's more interesting. The only thing DC is putting out that I will say is interesting at the moment is the absolute
absolute
shit.
rules, bro.
Yeah,
Absolute
but
rules.
that's because it's so fucking, it's out there. And
Yeah,
kudos to DC for doing that. I don't know if I
Dude.
agree with everything they're doing with it, but it's a unique idea and I like that. But when I'm
Absolute
looking at
Batman's a juggernaut, man. Like we've not seen anything like that since in like
that's
15
just
years.
a weird, crazy concept that even if it's like goes against everything of your morals and values, like that's the conundrum, right?
Yeah.
We're all fucking whatever over here, so that like if you go against our morals, no, fuck no. DC just fucking did a crazy 180 with the concept of Batman. So whether you agree with it or not, that Batman concept is unique and awesome, and absolute Batman is interesting, right? That's something we haven't seen in comics in a long time. This goes toe to toe with that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I will say that. It deserves to be on the shelves.
So issue 1 comes out. It was delayed, and that's sort of where I got my first taste of like taking the onus of responsibility of things, even though that like there were things that maybe were out of my direct fault, if you will. And it's not that anybody was at fault, but I think that Hugo and I both kind of got rose tinted glasses and sort of like took on more than we could, because like he did all the art stuff and I did everything else. And it's not to say that we didn't have help or anything like that. It's just like I had never done any of this before, so like
That's usually how it goes either way. So.
Yeah, right. And so we had set a date, and then that date came and went, and it was like, okay, like I got because like I started to feel guilty because I had people's money. And I don't like being beholden to anyone. If you loan me $5, like I'm paying you back immediately. Like I don't like it. And then like, again, we went over $5,000. So and I'm sitting here with like all this money and I'm paying him whatever. So then I had done some things, to keep and as the writer, like he's doing the brunt of the work here. And I'm not going to be here and be like, well, writing is this, like, dude, comics are a visual medium, man, and like it's the art's gonna sell it. And I did notice with a lot of indie books that like covers look great, and then you get to the interiors and you're like, that's not as good. And my goal was like, no, you have this cover and you look inside and it's the exact same. And like
especially when you got 12 variants of just tits and ass.
Right. And I had only done one variant. I did a variant on issue 1, which was Eamon Winkle, who went on to do Necro's Principles of Necromancy for Magma Comics, I think. And he was like a horror guy, and he jumped at the opportunity to be able to do like a cyborg polar bear, because like that's a hook for people, man. It's people like, because it's not something that people draw every day, and it's like, yo, dude, you ever drawn a polar bear before? What about a cyborg polar bear? And it's just like, holy shit, that sounds rad as hell. And so like when I talk to like artists and stuff, that's my lean in there. And so issue 1 came out, and I think that you've always got your group chat and you're like your best friends, they're gonna gas you up, and like they're always gonna tell you, yeah, this is awesome. But you know, when you get people who you don't know who take a gamble, like I had people in like Vancouver and like Washington and like California and shit that like would message me like, dude, this is like legit good. Like they're like, it looked good, but like someone told me, right? Like I overheard at in my local comic store, like, yeah, like he's actually a pretty good writer, knows how to do a comic book. And it's just like, that means not more, but like that's coming from a place of like genuine, like, because I wasn't supposed to hear it, because like he was trying to sell the book to somebody else. And so like I'm like on cloud 9, like, oh, this is great. And I don't seek praise. Like it's just not like, I just want people to be happy and thrilled and like, hey, you'll come back again. Yeah. So then we started in April of last year. And I wrote the script, and Hugo and I had talked about like what we would do, like, you know, ideas, this, that, back and forth. And so I sat down and I pumped out because like I had in totality, I'd been with issue 1 in all of its forms for 10 years. So like there was that. And then to turn around within like a couple weeks and do issue 2, which I'd already had story like bullet points, like each issue I have bullet points of like, okay, this is what we're doing here, this is what we're doing here. And so I pumped it out really quick, and I was surprisingly satisfied with how quick I was able to do it without like a lot of revisions. So I sent it to my editor, and he gave me some like things to like work on. Okay, got it, sent it to Hugo, and we started work. And then my goal was to have 10 pages done before launching in August. So you got that like 3-4 months to do it. And then just like from that point on, the mountain of shit that he and I both had to climb through in order to make this thing happen is just like a testament to just like, again, just like pure determination of getting this shit done. I don't know if you know, Peter, I think I told you a little bit about it, but so I get everything set up on Kickstarter. Mind you, I funded the first one on Kickstarter. No questions, no problem. I set everything up. I'm pre-approved for like pre-launch and shit. In July, I start sending out tweets, you know, follow this, blah, 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 doing all that nonsense. So I had already had Fred's cover was done. I had worked with someone who was semi-local to do an homage cover for Nom, I think it's Nom 67, which is the third cover.
Oh, that's what this is from. It's not G.I. Joe. That's from NAM. I have this issue from NAM.
There's the third cover. I don't think you have the third cover. It's an actual, like, I think it's NAM 67. I don't know. And so
the NAM
that took like that cover was late, and that guy, you know, he was very open and honest and upfront. It's like, hey man, like things are not great here at home, blah 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 blah. And he was an artist who had worked on like TMNT and like all sorts of stuff. So like, but again, he was quasi local, but my idea was like we could get together. He comes to stores, like he does signings, like we could just like do whatever. I could piggyback off of the Turtle fandom that he has, and it just like didn't work out the way that I had wanted. So then I was going back to Eamon I was like, hey, you have the first right of refusal to do for issue 2. And he's like, I don't have the capacity to do it. I was like, hey, that's fine, no problem. So then a friend of mine, I will keep the name out because I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. A friend of mine at the time, we had discussed doing it. And he has also done stuff for G.I. Joe and Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like all of that. Like he's done that. And he gave me a good price. I was super excited for what he was going to do. And 2 weeks before he's supposed to have it done and before I'm supposed to launch, I've like not heard anything. There's been no communication. There's been no sketches. There's been no approvals, none of that stuff. And I'm like, all right. And then like I sent sort of like a because I'm not a very professional person. Like, you know, we're all people, like whatever. Like I'm not like some like whatever. But I had to sort of like
You fit in good here.
but I'm like
Yeah,
running a
right.
project, and like this is like my fucking like this is my thing. Like this is like you may not give a shit, but I give lots of shits. Like this is me. Like you know, I am the sole like responsibility for this shit. And
It's that anxiety as a creator that starts creeping in.
And it's just like, wearing all the hats. I mean, you all know how it is.
Uh-huh.
So like anyways, all this is going on, and I sent him an email like, dude, like I need something. Like I need something to go on. Like I don't want to launch this campaign with nothing. Like at least give me a sketch to say this is what it's going to look like, even though I didn't want to do that anyways. And so he's like, I've never been late ever. I've never missed a deadline ever. I'm at C2E2. I'll have your cover done. Okay. All right, whatever. And then like what I get was just not what I wanted. And he took advantage of the situation. He just did not treat, like I get it as an artist. Like not sometimes you want to pay and gig, you got to pay the bills. But like we were on a different level. I had thought of like camaraderie of like where I thought he would give this like everything he had. And he didn't, and he half-assed the shit out of it. And I was like, okay, you're fired. Like I paid him half up front. I didn't pay him for the second half. Like you did not give a shit about this. You did not give me everything that and I gave him like his own covers of like, this is what I wanted. Like this can sell a book. Your cover's not going to sell a book. I'm sorry. And I don't know if you guys know this, but drawing a polar bear is apparently really hard for a lot of people.
Dude, actually, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, we had that conversation.
It is definitely difficult to draw a polar
Everybody
bear.
puts pointy ears on him.
Yeah, it's hard to make a bear look like a
bear,
not like a dog, right?
Yeah. Yes, and Hugo's great at it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, holy shit, dude. We did comment on that. Like, yes, that is a hard thing to draw. And he did a great job. I
then reached out, and I forget how I met Sheik, but Jeremiah Sheik stepped in super quickly and was like, he's an artist, but he doesn't do it full time. So he gave me like a discounted rate of like, hey man, I can do this. You're in a pinch. I'm like, and he was aware of all this because I told him all this, not giving him a sad story. None of these are excuses, by the way, for anybody that's listening. This is the fucking reality of how this shit works. And so, or at least it did for me. And so he was like, yeah, he's like, I can pump this out. Give me some like things, whatever. And he gave me like 5 sketches and was like, pick one, boom, got it. And then so issue 2, the main cover, became what Sheik did for me like very quickly, and I'm like immensely thankful for him for the quick turnaround. So that way and then I finally got the 3rd cover. I went too big. I should have just stuck with 2 covers. So anyways, all that's ready. Kickstarter's ready to go. The fucking day before I launch, I get an email from Kickstarter, and they ask me they're like, what is your affiliation with the Cuban government, and what contact do you have with Cuban citizens?
What the fuck,
dude? And
what the fuck?
I was like, what? I don't.
How, are you willingly harboring
and I was like, well, my artist lives in Cuba, but he's worked for hire, but like I know I'm the one that owns this. I'm the one that has all the money goes through me. I'm the sole proprietor of this thing, and they rejected it. They fucking said, no thanks, you can't host your comic book here. And I'm like, crazy. I already did it. Same team.
Oh,
and so like I'm just like
that
blown away, because there is nothing, and I looked, there is nothing in the terms of services that says that like dictates whether or not like you can be in China, Mars, fucking doesn't matter. There are no restrictions on Kickstarter as far as like where someone is from or lives. And so I'm like, well, shit, I don't know what to do. And so again,
who are you affiliating with is the problem at the time, because we've seen a lot of people get like blacklisted
and apparently that's like they started to like tighten up there, because then once I started talking to other people, because like at the time like it was just like, oh, I've never heard this, and then as time went on, I started to see more and more people that were getting sort of like ostracized for whatever reason. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But again, I am a stubborn motherfucker, and I am determined, and the first time you tell me I can't do something, I will fucking prove you wrong. And so now I'm pissed
Yeah.
off. Now I'm pissed off. And I was like, all right, so I got to find this. And like, there was a couple of avenues I wanted to go. And I was like, well, fuck it. Like, again, it ended up being that Fund My Comic took the least amount of money. And at that time they it was the all or nothing. Right. And so, they didn't do the all or nothing. It was just like, what I got is what I got. So again, I had my goal at $4,000, which I think at the time I did, it was the second largest on that platform. And again, not only did I have to get people to back my book on Fund My Comic, I had to bring people over from everywhere else.
How'd you find out about Fund My Comic?
I just did, dude. I just fucking did the research, man. Like, because there was Indiegogo, there was there's another one, I forget what it was called, but they only did like 8 campaigns at a something Zoop, yeah, but they only did like 6 campaigns at a time.
Yeah, we looked into Zoop once. Those are only big name campaigns.
And I was like, I'm not good enough for this. So I went to Fund My Comic, and I mean, doing that work too, to bring people over there, and I had to drag this fucking book across the finish line. Like, I was just like calling in favors, like, please, like I just need like $6, like, help me. And because at that time Fund My Comic was only like, I think, less than 2 years old.
Yeah, they're pretty fresh.
And again, just like I probably lost half of my people from issue 1 on Kickstarter over to issue 2, but I did get some new people, present company included. And so just like all of that, super stressful. All right. Oh my gosh. So finally we get it across the finish line. And then like I had the 10 pages done, and then a hurricane hits in Cuba, knocks the fucking power out. I have like no contact for a while. No, and then another hurricane hits like a month later, same thing. So the book gets fucking massively delayed. And then unfortunately, around January, Hugo's dad passed away. And so then that sets us back. I took a good couple of weeks off. I mean, understandably. And then the date was supposed to be March, and then it ended up just getting pushed back because then what happens in Cuba is they have these things called, like, I guess they're called brownouts, where they get 4 hours of power, and then 4 hours no power, and then 4 hours of power, and they cycle power. And he has lived this way for fucking like 6 to 8 months. Shit. And it's like the only time that he has power, he's working on the book, and he's doing some of it, like when there's no power. But when you're doing stuff digitally, like you only have so much battery life on stuff. So right. Like it just, like, my book just it took 18 months from script to completion. And I was, I was just like so antsy and just like irritated, not at anybody or anything. It's just like circumstance of life.
This is the second issue.
It's like I'm looking at the mirror with this story, dude.
What you do. And from what it's like, I know that comics are hard, but goddamn it, they ain't supposed to be this fucking hard. Like,
now hold on a minute. Yeah. This is the second issue, right?
Second issue. I launched it. I launched that campaign in October of last year. With a delivery date of March of 2025. And I delivered it in October of 2025.
I will say this. You can relax. Because
I
got this book within like a serious, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but within very acceptable bounds. I got this book and was very happy. I got it within the time frame I got it. I was not ever once being like, where's this book? Oh my God, where's this fucking book? I backed this book. I never once was like that with this book. This book I got it in the mail, and I was like, holy shit, fuck yeah, I got it. Holy fuck. I was like super excited because I was not on the point where I'm like, where's this fucking book? I'm not sweating anything. And I don't usually do that. I don't sweat. Like, I back a book, and when I get it, I get it. But there are books that occasionally I will check up on and be like, now, how long am I waiting now? This book came in, like, I was very pleasantly surprised.
It's about a year for you, but you got to tack on all the extra shit for me.
I'm still waiting on books for about 5 years, and last year, 4 years waiting, I was still like, yeah, I'll get it when I get it. Like,
I've only seen Peter act like a kid at Christmas with 2 books.
Yeah,
and one of those books is Polar Destroyer.
Yeah. Definitely.
The other one we talk about later on, but
we talk about all the time.
yeah, we do. But right now we're focused on you.
Yeah,
and Polar
we're talking
Destroyer.
about Polar Destroyer. This
If
is
you're
one of
just
the
joining
books.
us now, we have Alex Osborne, creator of Polar Destroyer issues 1 and 2. Unfortunately for you guys, the campaign closed on Fund My Comic. But Peter and I, we're some lucky bastards over here because this thing was phenomenal.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you can
and
still
I
pick it
cannot
up,
wait. No, go get it. And actually, I was curious. And when are you going to be?
Is there a link?
Yeah,
you need to get some links in there. For
I
that.
have two shops. I have a Ko-Fi shop and I have a big cartel.
Shit, put those in the private chat and I'll
yeah,
put them up.
put them in. Yeah, man. And also, do you
make sure to add that to the description.
Do you?
Oh, definitely.
Do you go to like comic book conventions and promote this stuff there?
So
where are you at?
I did do a local comic convention in February, and I had issue 1. I was competing with some names, so it wasn't until the next day where like people were there and like, oh, okay, like, and then you lean in. Like I had to learn my pitch of like, because I was like across from Chris Bacalo, so I was like, and I was like, okay, like no one's gonna fucking do anything with
Fuck
me.
that, dude! You're across from a big name. That's like gold. That's where you sell your shit.
My comic shop organizes it, so like I got the table because of who I am, and he also backed my book, and so like shout out Snake Eyes Comics, and so like he put me over there on purpose, but it was just to get me. But like, dude, no one gave a shit on Saturday. It was Sunday that I did very well, but it took me. There was a couple other people.
Like if I'm across from Jim Lee, I'm like, hey. Fuck y'all! I'm fucking over here better than Jim Lee. Check out my shit, and I'd be like yelling at people, like, "Hey, fuck Jim Lee's a fucking con artist. He steals wives or whatever. I'll fucking do whatever I gotta do."
Mark
and I'm gonna get people
on the other side of me,
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I see. I'd have gone and gotten him in on it. I'd have gotten him going against the guy, like stir the pot.
Yeah. Because I mean, to be honest, I go to conventions and I'll go back a book, and I have back books that maybe I shouldn't have, but there's a guy who's like a super here locally, super SJW. I bought every one of his books, right? He saw that I had a Comicsgate shirt. Now, I'm not sure, Oz, or you, Alex, where you align with the Comicsgate, if you're even familiar with Comicsgate. But I went to a comics convention, and this guy is like super lefty, anti-comics. He's got his ideas of Comicsgate. He saw my shirt and was like, oh, I don't even know if I want to sell you my comic book. Well, whatever. I bought all his books. I ended up buying all his books and read them all and everything. And the books are okay. They're fine or whatever. Nothing again. I have nothing to say towards his work. But the fact that I had to struggle with an artist or creator to buy their fucking merch because of a shirt that I was wearing.
No shit.
Which tells me that not only does he not know what the fuck he's talking about with the Comicsgate, but also... like, why are you looking at my shirt and commenting? If you have a problem with the shirt that I'm wearing, don't comment on it. Just take my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if like we're talking about comics, dude, like I don't give a shit. Like buy my book. I don't give a fuck.
Well, no, when it comes to indie comics and selling, I think Comicsgate is the best fucking outlet, right? Like, if you're not hitting every convention and everything, you want an online community, Comicsgate is where it's at. And we need to keep rebuilding this Comicsgate group because it is doing some weird shit lately. And I will admit how it's doing some weird shit lately. But it used to be a fucking solid community, and we need to get that back together. And it doesn't matter who's on fucking top or bottom or whatever. We're Comicsgate are the people backing indie comic books, right? To the mainstream, to the rest of the world, people who are backing indie comics are Comicsgate.
I have always been the person that sort of like I go to the beat of my own drum. I don't give a shit what Steve Dave's doing over here. Like I do what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like to my own detriment sometimes, but like I just again like I'm here to get my book, in the hands of as many people as possible. So it's like, whatever.
No, it's a fucking business, and you do what's good for your business. End of story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it wrong every step of the way, but I've done it. So
Oh, join the club.
Hey,
Us
man.
first timers never get right.
Yeah,
When we start looking at your
in good
book,
company.
yeah, I'm like, one of the fun things we did on my channel was we're scrolling through just random campaigns, and you nailed it. We're looking at like thumbnails, the first thing that catch your eye. And I see this thumbnail, I'm like, holy shit, this looks cool. So we look at it, we look at the campaign, we start analyzing it. And man, your book sold it.
there's
You sold
an
me,
old
and-
adage that they tell you. It's like, well, write what you know. Well, I'm writing what I want,
yeah.
meaning I'm writing what I want to see on the shelf. Like I'm writing what a 15-year-old me would have been like, dude, this is rad as shit. And
dude.
tonally, I'll admit, tonally it has shifted because I'm older, but like, and it was a bit more campy originally and leaning into it. And as I started to write it, I went with what felt natural at the moment. And then like, so Timber kind of came in later, which is the wolf. Sort of, I just like fell in love with this smarmy, like shithead of a like creature, right? Like,
Yeah.
like he's a wolf. And it's like, the question is always like, why is there a wolf hanging out with all these penguins? And it's like, well, there's a reason, and we'll get to that.
There's gotta be a reason.
And so like I just sort of like fell in love with this wolf character, because that was about the only character of issue 1 that wasn't a pre-established character at that moment. And I don't know, dude, like I just did it that way. Now I do have some things to clarify.
Let's hear it.
So issue 1 was meant to feel like a punch in the gut. Like you're just like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck just happened? Like that was the whole intention. Like you only know Jack's name. You don't know anybody else's name. Now there's it wasn't a criticism, but it was, when I wrote issue 2, I knew who all these people were, but like obviously the reader doesn't know. So like when I had to name the villains and I put those name tags on there, that's because when you're jumping in, whether I did a poor job or not, when you're jumping into the conversation of like when they're in like, everyone's in hostage and they're like talking to each other. Yeah. They're mid conversation. And I don't know how you guys speak or how you talk to people, but like I don't just like say people's names if I'm already talking to somebody. So naturally, it felt unnatural for me to be like, "Hey, Timber," when you're already talking to when 001's already talking to Timber.
Hey, 001, what are you looking at over there?
Right. And so
I actually appreciate the thought process behind that. Like you saw something that was like, this doesn't feel natural. This isn't something that I wanted. So how do I tackle this problem and kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
Right.
I really appreciate that. And you know what? It started a conversation point with us. That says something to me.
Yeah.
But
it was, even my friends were like, I only know who these characters are because I've seen the behind the scenes, I've seen the finished pages, I've done all this. But it's like the person, random Joe picks it up, like they don't know, but you're not supposed to know in the first issue. Like that was the whole point. And so I felt like when I was doing it, I'm like, okay, like I've got to do this. So the easiest way
talking about
those name tags right there. Yes.
Right there.
So all 3 of the villains are named on that page. So know who they are, because I did not want to but I did not want to do the old X-Men style of like putting everyone's names, because at this point in the story, like it's a direct continuation from the cliffhanger of 1 into 2. Like it's, like a couple hours or whatever it is. And so like, there you go. Like, but they needed to be named. You needed to know who they were. And so now going forward, that pressure or that thought of like, well, shit, like I've got to keep, I've got to do this. And like, I don't like modern comics where like you read an issue and then like the next issue, the first page or the 2 pages is like a direct summary of what just happened. I understand why it's there because it's monthly and like whatever, but like,
monthly's different.
Space is at least you didn't go out and have to do it with like a news channel having to regurgitate everything happened in the first issue.
Yeah.
So kudos there.
So
Yeah,
20
we'll give you
the
that.
first issue is 28 pages start to finish. And the script originally for issue 2 was also 28 pages, but when I crafted the fight scene between, I think you called him like a war moose. It's a nar moose because those are narwhal tusk in his arms.
A narmoose.
It's a nar moose.
Yeah, that's even cooler.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Fucking narmoose.
So,
See,
but
hold on. I gotta talk for a second.
okay.
And then, sorry.
No, you're good.
You open up a bag of worms, dude.
One of the reasons this book fucking rocks, right? That got my attention from the get-go. We're not talking another Superman story. We're not talking another Green Lantern. We're not talking about another fucking spinoff of a fucking hero that everybody knows about. When I'm looking at indie comic books, I want to see something that's different. I want to see something that's unique. It's not a spinoff. And when I see Polar Destroyer, I'm like, that sounds cool for one.
Right.
I look into it. It's a fucking polar bear, and he's got a machine gun, and he's a fucking cyborg. And then the more I look into it, oh, he's fighting penguins. Holy shit, this book is fucking cool. I don't care. It's unique. It's interesting. That's what indie is, right? Now you're telling me that like this character that I'm like, oh, he's a cyborg, a fucking what the fuck is that thing again?
A narmoose.
A moose. He's a narmoose.
I will never forget that.
That
term.
makes it even fucking
For the
cooler
rest
than
of
I
my
thought
life.
it was. Yeah, I'm like, everything about this book is cool. It's unique. It's interesting. It's exactly what I want in comic books, much less indie comics, because how many fucking indie comics are just, well, here's my take on Spider-Man.
Yeah,
or
I don't give a shit about that.
I got this really cool idea, but I'm going to mimic Spider-Man or Superman or it's fucking infuriating. It's like, I'll just read Spider-Man and Superman. What are these people? When are they going to figure it out? Like, I don't want to read another fucking Spider-Man. You're not invincible. Which
Or the
is
next
probably
slice of life, like the this is what
American
superheroes would be like.
American Splendor. I don't need another fucking rendition. Like, I will say, Invincible is where it's at. That's the limit that I have now with the take on pre-existing heroes, right? Because we've had it done over and over. The Boys with fucking Invincible, with so many, the Watchmen. How many times we're gonna have to fucking redo these characters? I want something new, something interesting. This
another thing about Polar
at all.
Destroyer. Another thing about Polar Destroyer is, story aside, your character designs are fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Fucking A, man. Hell yeah.
Narmoose. That's all you got to say about that.
Narmoose.
Narmoose looks great, but the little details that you give to 001, like having a fucking penguin still keep a little tuxedo bow,
The little bow tie.
Yeah.
The little bow tie is a nice touch. And the fucking,
even though he's like the villain asshole, that was just a chef's kiss to small detail.
And I'm
There's
waiting
a lot.
to find out about the stitches. Like that means there's something going on with his brain.
Yep.
That's the brilliant thing about comics is there are things that you can only get away with in comics, and a penguin with a bow tie is one of them. Again, it makes me laugh, and I think it's
it made me laugh.
I
was like,
hell yeah, dude.
because
In fact,
like
there's several moments
the 80s and 90s like action movies, like it's all like super machismo, and like that inspiration is heavily in there with Chris Claus and Jack and everything else, but it's still there. And so like you got to lean into the cheese a little. And there's callbacks to Aliens, there's callbacks to like Doom, the video game. There's like
cheese it up, dude. I love it.
Like there's a ton of Easter eggs in the second issue. I will say that it's mostly penguins. There are rabbits and foxes and other Arctic birds that are there. Like, again, it's a predator and prey situation of what we know as predators and preys, and like obviously like you had touched on it, like obviously wolves and bears versus like birds, so like, and it's just like this whole thing. But the whole point of that, we were talking about the Narmus. Oh, so like when I had written on the script, like it ended up being more like Hugo was like, I can't do all this. He's like, I need more pages. I need to, he's like, give me 4 more pages. So I was like, all right, screw it. Like I'll do it. Like whatever. Like at this point. And so issue 2 is 34 pages. And like that's a lot of pages. That's a lot of book. And I didn't increase my prices. I didn't do anything. It was still the same. Still whatever.
That's a good issue package right there. 32 pages. Just enough for a lot of action, just enough for story.
I'll be right back. My daughter is out of bed.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, man.
I understand that one.
Yeah.
But
And I gotta say, man, like that price point and everything for this book was spot on. And when he gets back, I do kind of want to mention how like his artist, who's Hugo, this Hugo guy. I need to find out who that is, because I'm looking at his style, going like, fuck, man, I got some projects that I could use him on, and anybody else.
Are you gonna try to hand him some lemmies?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking swoop in. I'm gonna swoop him. I'm gonna like steal his artist, but that guy needs to fucking get some more work, dude. This artist, when it comes to the
we need to get him on here. I want to talk to this dude.
I kind of want to get Hugo on here because I'm kind of like looking at some of the art going like, where the fuck did you come up with this idea? Because I've looked at a lot of artwork and I've looked at some shit and I've never thought of doing this with like lighting. Like, remember when we were looking at we were like, okay, this is maybe AI or some shit, right? There was like this effect that had to do with the light. Now, most people would have the light just be like a fucking gradient glow, but they were using a halftone approach for the lighting glow in the background, and that's a pretty unique concept to do in the regards of like doing artwork, was that halftone approach for the lighting. And I'm like, where the fuck do you come up with something like that? That's
hey, Alex, we got a request.
We're gonna steal your artist.
We have decided that while you were gone, we've decided that this is absolutely totally 100% AI, and we need to talk to Hugo.
Okay, well,
We'd like to request his presence.
Good luck.
I was hoping to like get him in on this one. Like I was trying to like use reverse psychology.
We gotta get him in.
Have a chat with Hugo for real though. Like seriously, like we want to talk to that guy about some art.
Yeah, I was like looking at some of his art stuff, and I'm like, where the fuck did he come up with this idea? And okay, it's like that's an original concept, right? Like the way he was doing some gradient lighting and stuff, and he was using halftones. I'm like, that's fucking inspired. That's pretty brilliant. This guy should be full-time employed right now. Like this guy should be making comics 24/7, and he should be working on some of the top projects, because I've seen some of the top projects in indie spaces, and it doesn't compare to what you've got going on right here. So hang on to that artist for one, but two, if you're in downtime, this guy needs to be busy right now. He needs to be working.
We didn't even touch on some of the things I did with like rewards, but one of them with issue 2 was I tried to harken back to the like choose a kill, like with how do you choose Robin dies or do you choose that Robin live? So one of my tiers was like you got to vote on how the Narmus would die. And you would be one of the first people to see it, because like I purposely didn't show the Narmus like in any promo stuff or anything, because like it was like it's part of like
that was a nice surprise. Narmus was a fun surprise.
Everybody voted, and I did not have any control other than like I got to pick the 3. Hugo and I picked the 3 ways of like, and he did sketches of like rough sketches of the 3 ways that he would die, and you send those out to everybody that backed it. And they picked it, and then what you see is what the majority rules of the vote, which was dope as shit. It was cool as shit.
Yeah,
with issue cool. 1 again. I'll just go back to issue 1 and see if I've got it. See if you can see this. It may be blurry. So you see this? It's super blurry. But can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So it is.
Let me blow you up.
Yeah. So it's probably gonna be blurry, but This
Nah,
is
it's perfect.
this is hand painted resin that I had printed.
That's awesome.
There are only 11 of them. I have one of them, obviously. And so my buddy, I don't know if you've ever gotten an STL file created from the ground up, but it's very expensive. It's very expensive. A full body sculpt is about $2,200. And so mine is just
for like a 3D print
for a full body
For the
sculpt
file.
for the file, because they essentially take what you have and they have to draw it in, like, I guess CAD or some program like that. So obviously I didn't do a full body, but so I got my buddy printed all of them and then was like, I'll hand paint them for free, because he'd been painting Warhammers at this point for like 25 years. Like, he was the only guy I knew growing up that was doing Warhammers, and he hand painted 10 of those. Awesome.
Damn.
Super fucking cool. It was just like I overstepped in like what I should have done, but like it was just like, again, like I had, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it all the way, right?
You need to look into a guy named Shadowpunk.
Shadowpunk.
Yeah, Shadowpunk.
Well, first off, kudos to your guy, because that's exquisite work.
Kudos to your guy. Go look at a Shadowpunk.
We all need some kind of print of our characters that we do.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're a big toy guy, so I found this toy, and I'm gonna get somebody to do a custom of this. But like, this is a polar bear.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I know it sucks. I got the blurry on there, but like, I'm looking for somebody to customize, obviously, all of this, and I want to have this setting on my table. But I mean, it's a big boy. Like, you see how big my head is.
Shadowpunk. Shadowpunk, he's got a comic book he's putting out, but one of his big things is 3D printables and all that stuff.
He does.
I follow a couple
Shadowpunk.
people on Instagram that do it, but they're backed up, man. Like, and so they're like, if you want to jump around the line, you got to pay a premium, and it's like, I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
So, anyways, 34 pages? Where were we at? What were we talking about? Yeah. I don't know what we were talking about. Sorry.
I was talking about how, like, holy fuck, dude, I'm gonna steal your artist because this guy's fucking way better than
you are not stealing my artist.
He needs to be in like top tier shit, like his inspired artwork.
Not that yours isn't top tier. Peter's had a few here.
Oh yeah. I'm fucking drunk right now, dude. So like, take what I say with a grain of salt.
What's going on, Mo Biggs?
Mo Biggs, what's going on, Mo? So your artist is like fucking inspired, man. He's an amazing artist.
I know. He's very good.
He should be working full time on shit, and we've got to get.
Well, he can wait until he's done with my book.
Like we got to get, like, I don't want him to like leave your book because I want to keep reading your book. So what we got to do is find the downtime. We got to find, like, we got to get both you guys top tier. We got to get y'all into the stratosphere right now.
If he can get his power situation all settled, I think the book will get done quicker. But again, it's like you can only work with what you got.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Mo Biggs says, "I know you're a big toy guy. That's nothing. Peter keeps a 12-inch Violator under his bed."
Yeah, but that's what are we talking? Spawn? We're talking about the fucking Violator. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got my toys. I got my toys around here somewhere.
But there's a difference here with you, Alex, because we keep saying like we're the smaller creators, we're not big names or anything. But in this circle, in this indie circuit, we have new titles that we're going to be giving out, and those are called fulfillers. You actually fulfill your campaign.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We were just going over this back in the green room. I have 12 books that I have not seen fulfill.
Yeah,
or at least
it's one thing to find a book
paid, but not actually shipped out yet. And this right here, those 12 books, I have $580 backed in these books with these creators, and haven't seen a dime from them in a while. So to you, whether or not that you were late to fulfill your book with a year out, because the same fucking thing happened to me on my issue too. you put your nose to the ground and you try to get that shit done left and right.
Yeah.
And so when you actually came through and you fulfilled
Hey,
that thing,
you overcame real obstacles.
right?
Yeah.
That needs to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Stuff that you can't control or plan for, by the way.
so I've got a
Yeah.
lot of one of the cool things about what we do here is we're looking for cool books. We go back cool books. We try to get people to go back cool projects and everything,
Yeah.
right? One of the risks that is okay. Well, we all backed a project that looked really cool, and then the creator ends up being a jackass, and he's like, you know what? Y'all weren't paying my lifestyle. Y'all weren't paying me to make a book. You're paying me to write, to draw the book. And it's like, wait, no, I paid you for a book, and I was giving you leeway on time. But now you're telling me that I didn't give you enough money because you weren't able to live your lifestyle for 5 years. And I'm talking about Reaper. Or no, not Reaper. What was the name of that?
Death Raider Rob Hunter.
Death Raider was like, I gave him money. I backed that book twice, and then the guy comes out with this fucking statement saying, "Well, sorry, y'all weren't paying my fucking lifestyle, and so I can't afford to make your book anymore." And it's like, what the fuck? There's a lot of times where we're like backing books, and we're like, oh, this looks really cool. I'm going to throw my money at it. This book is definitely one of the ones where I'm like, I'm happy that I backed it. You're a fucking solid creator. You have fulfilled the book beyond expectation. Bro, you did not have to fucking tell me. Just let me know what cover you wanted. You didn't have to tell me that.
You didn't have to add those extra pages.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was like, oh man, in the one live stream, I was like, I really, really, really want this cover. You hit me up and said, hey, if you want that cover, just put it in the description, and I'll make sure it happens. You didn't have to do that. That's like in a one-off. I've never had anybody hit me up and say, hey, if that's the cover you want, and it's not in a tier, that we have set aside, just hit me up, make a comment, and we'll make sure it happens. I've never had that happen before.
Oh, and more important to me that you backed it than it was cover. I'm not going to argue.
I truly appreciate that you did that, because I did really want this cover.
Yeah.
And the fact that you hit me up and were like, hey man, just put it in the thing and I'll make sure it happens. I felt fucking special. I was like, I even went to Jake and was like, hey Jake, fuck you. I got the fucking cover. You didn't, bitch. I got the fucking best cover, and you suck donkey dick because I got it and you did it.
I told you that he was so giddy when he told me that he got his
giddy
when he got his cover. You don't understand. He acted like a 13-year-old who just got stricken with puberty and just started hitting the crusty socks.
I still am.
Happy as a clam.
Months now. I'm still fucking giddy every time I look at it. And then I look at Jake. I look at this and I look at Jake and I'm like, hey Jake, here's this crusty sock, and I throw it at him, and he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
With issue 3, I'm taking on a less is more approach when I do my thing. Like, I'm not gonna do a bunch of gimmicky stuff. I'm gonna have the books, and then like I think I have an idea for an art print that I want to do that sort of like highlights the entirety of like what issue 3 is about. But I've got a couple of other like surprises. I mean, like, I guess I can tell you. Issue 3 will have 2 books, not just one.
Damn.
It
will like an ash can?
No, it's going to have a one shot, and it's going to have issue 3.
Nice.
So the entire story is told through 6 issues. It is a Timber one shot, and it is how Timber gets to be with the Penguin.
That's cool. I was like, I was thinking this is like a 3
with a different artist. So I'll be launching with 2 books because it will take. Because what I want to do is I want to have issue 3 done, or at least like 95% done before I launch any sort of crowdfund, to sort of mitigate as best possible like any sort of delays that are public. Because like I can deal with any sort of delays right now because nobody else knows about it because there's no date and there are no delays at this point. But like when it gets out there, like again, like I am very transparent and I don't want to have to constantly answer like, hey guys, like it's coming, the book will be here when it's here, because that eventually starts to fall on deaf ears for like just like normal people.
No, you've
You know what I
fulfilled
mean?
the book. Like at this
Yeah,
point, that's
but
not a concern.
people get real weird about money, which I understand because I also don't like holding people's money. Like again, I don't like beholden. I don't like owing anyone anything. So it's just like, you know, like that's just a personal thing for me. And so like when issue 3 launches and does its thing, it will be close to done, if not done by then. The only thing that'll be left will be printing. So like I'm sort of having to readjust on my end how I'm going to approach it in terms so I don't go super like bankrupt doing this.
It's kind of the way it needs to be going in the future because of the problem we were talking about earlier. There's so many books that we're all backing in good faith, but then you get shut down and to the point where you've got Jake at hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I'm last I checked, I was at like 250 something, which isn't as bad as like Jake. Jake backs a lot more than I do. All right.
Are there any of those that you guys like have both backed that neither one of you have?
Yeah, I backed Roken, Black Flag. Jake, what are some of the older ones that you backed?
Black Flag from Fragaboom, Thomas Mora, Wizard for Hire from Stefani Renee, Caius Blood and Stone from the guy who used to be known as Caius on X, Ali Sanguis's Egg Beater, Door Kickers was another one, Kami Mark's Krishna Kid, but there's a whole story behind that one.
I backed Roken.
I didn't back Groken. I backed
not Groken.
I backed Sean's Type 1, Joe Sontag's co-host.
Yeah.
The Embrace 2, Michael Oden, he's working on it, and so is Comics Mate, so no worries there.
Hold on a minute. I got it real quick before we continue.
I only had 4 more.
Okay. The reason I have to interrupt is because some of these are egregiously late. So to throw some of the names in the mix is not
the
fair.
Ones that are egregiously late are Fraga, Fragaboom, Stefani Renee, which I already know I'm never going to fucking see. Caius Blood and Stone, never going to fucking see. Egg Beater, Ali, I can probably say I'm never going to fucking see.
Maybe.
Door Kickers,
yeah.
I mean, just fuck, man. $508 out the wazoo, and that's just Indiegogo. I haven't even gone over Fund My Comic or Kickstarter yet because I back on all. I don't give a fuck where you're from. I don't care who you affiliate with. If I am one of those people that can separate art from artist. If you're an asshole, I don't give a shit. How's your work? Let me see your work. If your work's decent, I'll back it. If it's good, I'll talk about it. If it sucks, I'll throw it over my shoulder like I did one of the books on a couple shows ago.
Jake, I tell you what, I got a weird offer for you, man. But if you made a video about about that exactly, like if you did a rant video about your egregiously late comics, I will do 100% of any optimization and behind the scenes work you want on that.
The problem is before you go down that road, you start making videos like that, you're going to discourage people from ever backing books again, right? And so,
you handle that conversation right, but at the same time, you don't just brush it under the carpet and let people continue to scam them.
But that's true. But that's where me and Jake have actually started looking for specific red flags that we have found are common amongst campaigns.
And I want to see you make that video about the red flags, the 10 red flags that you need to watch out for when you're backing like a shady AI-driven comic book on Loom Zoom.
Okay,
Alex, have you backed books as you've created also?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
I'm going to
take yes.
Yes, because I also have a podcast, and so like what I would do is I would bring in people, and like I felt that it was an obligation, if you will, not even an
It's a pay it
obligation.
forward,
It's like
yeah.
yeah, like you came on my show, I'll back your book. So I've done that with a bunch of people. My friends,
That's
if they do
generous.
if they do stuff, I mean, like again, if you're gonna have somebody on your show, whatever. Not saying you should. You know what I'm
There's
saying.
knowing that.
Right.
There's no knowing that. That all
No,
counts.
that's legit.
And
we
Yeah,
were on a show where
I'm
we had
currently
like.
mad at
Sell it.
Kickstarter.
You're on the guy's podcast. You got to sell it. I mean, come on.
I mean,
Yeah,
to be fair, we had a lot of people on dojos that I never backed, and it's because they didn't sell me on their project.
Yeah.
While
there's
they were
gonna
on
be
air.
there's gonna be books like that, and it's not a knock on them. Sometimes people have to go through a learning curve. Maybe sometimes people, it's not, this isn't their thing. You're not required to back on something, but
Not to
doing like
mention,
that, being supportive of something, there's nothing wrong with that either. And that
you
does
want to
count as
support
back.
something, but you also want to support something that relates to you, right? That's where I haven't backed everything that I've ever been like something, thrown
Sure.
at me, because not everything appeals to me. And
Absolutely.
I didn't back Golden Patriot because Golden Patriot looked like a Power Ranger book. And I was like, I like Dillard, but I don't really care
You know
about
what?
this book.
You know what? Fuck you, Peter.
Something told me I wasn't going to feel amazing when I bought that book. But then you showed me that I maybe should have backed it, because there was a panel where he
Mo
felt
Biggs
amazing.
didn't like my answer, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I have not backed anything on Kickstarter since they said no to me on issue 2.
I see.
Fair
There
enough.
it is. Boycott.
Yeah, that's
Let it
fair.
begin.
Fuck it. You don't want me, I don't want you. So that's how I look
Yeah.
at it.
I
It's
hear
a
that.
revolution.
Yeah.
Have you, Alex?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you familiar with the Golden Patriot?
I don't know what that is.
See, yeah. That's Yellow Flash's book. Do I still
I'll be
have
right
it?
back.
Did I toss that bug? Here it is. Yeah, Golden Patriot is from Yellow Flash. And I gotta tell you, for somebody that says that he knows how to write comics, I really don't want to hear that you know how to write comics if you're only going to give me fucking Golden Age standard writing, right? Where it's just quick obstacle, quick answer and solution, and then it's off to the next, single standalone story in issue 2 or whatnot. This was very much like, this was Indiana Jones and Double Dragons. That's all I can say about this book.
Okay.
Wait, what's wrong with Indiana Jones? There's nothing wrong with Indiana. You take
There's
that
nothing
back.
wrong with Indiana Jones, but when you translate it poorly and it just becomes, somebody's got one half of a two-piece amulet and the other guy, the bad guy, that's fucking Double Dragons.
Then you get the crystal skulls. I got you.
But Polar Destroyer, on the other hand, where you go in and you're like Polar Destroyer, okay, you kind of get the premise and the theme of
fucking
what's
dope
going to happen
name,
just
dude.
with that name and the character that's on the cover.
Yeah.
It's a fucking polar bear, North Pole, taking out penguins, trying to avenge his fallen tribe and his family. And so that sounded more fun and is more fun than what I got from somebody that actually has a full-on community that he can sell to. Like,
this feels amazing.
This got $100,000, no problem, through Ripasend, Ripaverse. And Polar Destroyer deserves so much more, not even meet it or match it, what Golden Patriot pulled in. It deserves more because it is that fun of a book.
Yeah, way more than fucking Golden Patriot.
Dude, if I had $100,000 for a fucking comic book, I don't know what I'd do.
I'd shit a brick.
Man,
Dude,
I'd be pumping out a whole lot more than just one a year at that point.
Polar Destroyer deserves way more than fucking Golden Patriot. Because you know what? When I read Polar Destroyer, I say, this feels amazing!
So let me ask you this: as like when you're writing stuff, do you write all like 5 issues at a time, or do you just do
So,
one at a time?
So I have where the fuck is my notebook? So when I'm at work, if I have downtime, I'll pull out like here's my one for Brother Kit.
Yeah.
So I've got like the plot points that I want to hit written out.
Same.
And then I'll go in and I'll use Microsoft Word and then I'll start typing up a script. I'll rewrite it a couple times, see if I like it, then, shoot it out to an artist and then he'll bring it back to me. And then I'll start trying to figure out how to actually present dialogue, because the dialogue that I actually put down on Word first is just placeholders. I don't know what I want every character to say at that time, but I know basically where I want the conversation to go, how I want it to flow. And then when you get those pages back, you're like, oh, well, I can't make a big speech here because, the panel is actually smaller than I anticipated it to be, because you want a bigger panel for your action, or there's more emphasis on a character in this panel. So you start retweaking it as pages come in. And that's basically how it goes. So
wow.
By the end of me getting all the pages, I go back, double check and make sure I've got what I want said on the page. And then I'll send it to an editor and I'll be like, show me what's fucked up. And they'll be like, all right, well, this could use some retweaking. This could use, a rewrite or whatever. And I'm like, all right, fuck, go back, get the guy to redo the drawing or redo the speech bubbles to make it more precise, and then go to print. So there's a bunch of back and forth during the creative process before actually launching the book.
That's interesting, because mine is I detailed a little bit of how my process worked, but I don't do I didn't fully start issue 3 until issue 2 was done and out the door, because I want to basically, you write a story, you're writing the continuation, but anytime there's changes, because as a writer, I don't know if anybody even knows this, you cannot be married 100% to what you write on a piece of paper.
You never can.
Yes. And
it's never finished until it's actually printed.
And so with that mindset, I'm like, well, as soon as issue 2 is finished, then it is done and it is in the lore book. And then so now we're basing the next one off of what this is going to be, because I'm trying desperately to not have plot holes, to not have inconsistencies. And it's just I'm almost done writing issue 3. And so as I'm going back and forth, I'm looking for in my own writing of issue 1 and 2 and what was actually on paper, okay, this is what happened. How do we do this? Make sure that this meets this and this does this. But for me, I send it to an editor first. He goes over it and then sends it back to me and okay, this is ready. This is Hugo ready. And then I send it to him, and then the dialogue's there. For me, the dialogue doesn't get tweaked all that much because he's working within the confines of the panels that he's doing. And typically, this is what it's going to be. And then he sends it to me. Final, he'll give me the sketch. Okay, doom, whatever, it's done. And then once that's all said and done, I send it to the letterer, who also happens to be my editor. We go over it, we tweak anything. We do small tweaks if we have to, but there's not a lot of, once Hugo gets it, there's not a lot of changes. Right. Just because and we work really, really well together. We're getting into that, that good tandem. That flow.
You're syncing up. You're aligning your thought.
Yeah. It just, and he's had inputs on stuff, and I'm that sounds great. And then there's been things I'm I don't, I don't think this is going to work. Let's just keep it this way. And it's just okay, and so you got to learn to be cohesive, if you will. So, it's, the suit that he's wearing in 2 was Hugo's pitch. He's let's do that. And then what we'll do is we will work our way down and get him. Cause now he's, he's back, he's built, he's all this, but we're going to in a way, we're not going to tear him down, but we're going to get him back, because at what point does Jack, is he more of a bear or is he more of a cyborg? And where does that primal instinct that he has, that that he has, where does it come out? And how is it fleshed out? And how is it married with this cybernetic body that he has? And so, like, again, like you saw the opening of 1, so we got to get to that point. And if, like, you know, he still has a leg to lose, spoilers.
Yeah, well, that was something that I had said when we were looking at it. It was like, oh, that's a rough thing to do when you have like the end of the story laid out at the very beginning. Because what there are moments where you're like, oh, this would be a great moment to have, but I didn't add it in there. What's going on? Is this Mo Biggs? God damn it, Mo.
No, it's nothing
now?
towards you guys. He's dissing B Rose. You cannot be married to what you put down on a piece of paper. There goes B Rose and his manga waifu harem fantasy.
He rewrote. He had to redo his entire comic book because, you know, criticisms or whatever. Instead of moving forward, he just decided to rewrite the whole fucking thing. And then
Peter's vehemently against canon. So if you write something in like the end of the story at the beginning of the story, he's like, nah, fuck that.
No.
I get it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not vehemently against canon.
You're
what I'm
the
looking
most against canon person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, because of the idea that I'm like Star Wars original trilogies canon, and then I look at like the prequels and I'm like, okay, I like them, but I don't know if I really care if they're canon or not. But then I look at like the sequel trilogy and I'm like, okay, Star Wars sequel trilogy, that's not canon to me. That's just some stupid fan fiction. I will consider Rogue One to be fan fiction that could be canon, right? But canon is the original Star Wars trilogy. Rogue One, maybe canon. It fits pretty good. I like Rogue One.
That's about the most canon out of all of them. That's the one that should be that aligns the most.
Of course.
Well, that and of course everything Han Solo, because in that movie was like fucking all they did was take
like,
the plot points
the George
that were mentioned in the other movies.
The George Lucas prequel trilogies they're fine, whatever. But there's moments where I'm like, that's stupid. I don't like that. But like Rogue One is great. The Solo movie, that's not canon. That's a fucking Dash Rendar movie. Fuck, that's not a Han Solo movie. That's like anybody else but Han Solo. And then I look at like The Mandalorian. Okay, Mandalorian season 1, 2. Okay, whatever. That's canon. But then Ahsoka and all this other shit, the fucking Andor series. I haven't finished Andor.
My beef with that, the problem that I have with this is that hypothetically, now Disney screwed this for sure, but hypothetically, this is all part of a major story. This is one story that's got a lot of different arcs that are happening throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
so you can't pick and choose which ones.
Yes, you can, because of the fact
you have to with the Disney stuff, and that's what's wrong about it, is that you have to pick and choose.
The problem is
between doing that and disregarding the first few pages of Polar Story.
No, here's the thing. It's not disregarding anything. The canon is Star Wars episodes, fucking A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And then
I reject your canon.
After the original trilogy, you pick and choose what you think fits in your world. Because after that original trilogy, it gets fucking crazier and crazier the more you go. I liked episode 1, but I didn't like episode 2. Episode 3, I liked half of it. And then I liked Rogue One, but I didn't like the Solo movie, which is the in-between stories. And then I liked Mandalorian season 1 and 2, but I didn't like any of the other shit after that. And I hated the fucking the sequel trilogy. So it's like pick and choose your canon at this point. Because the original canon,
like you're saying is that you get to pick and choose the story points that you want to accept.
Because
and when you do that, you eliminate the whole line.
No, because I pick and choose based off of the original story written by the creator, George Lucas, original trilogy. He wrote that. I don't even think he directed it, but it fit, and that's why the original stories. The original Star Wars trilogy works is because he wrote it, somebody else directed it. After that, he might have written it, but then he directed it, and that's why it kind of sucks. So you can maybe pick and choose whether you want that, but everything other than what he wrote himself, at least, whether he directed it or not, what he's taken ownership of writing for, like that's Star Wars. Everything else you can pick and choose what you want to be canon. Because other than that, it's fan fiction. I like Rogue One, and I think that fits in the canon in my mind. I don't like the sequel trilogy because I read the Zahn trilogy, and I think the Zahn trilogy is really good. So this stupid fucking Rey Skywalker shit is bullshit, and fuck that's not canon.
But so that's fine. So what you're saying is that there are, and this is kind of different because what we're talking about is different story arcs here. But at the base level, let's look at just like the standard series. You have the original. You have episodes 4, 5, 6. You have 1, 2, 3, and let's just talk about those 6.
Okay.
So I don't like
original,
the first 3.
The first the original trilogy.
I like
George
4,
Lucas,
5, 6.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, which was written by him but not directed by him.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is that 1, 2, 3 is supposed to be the origin of that story. There is a now 9 movie series. That's one story that's being told. This is where Disney screwed it up. That is one story being told.
It's not one
and you
story.
don't get to discount. You don't get to pull out on a movie version. Yes, that's fine. You can enjoy episode 4, and you just don't really like watching the other ones.
But
the issue here is that it is one story.
No, it's not.
And when you're picking, you don't get to pick and choose the chapters of your story.
All right, so what's the connecting?
That's why people get upset about this. People get upset about episodes 7, 8, and 9 because it is a disservice to what should be a full story.
But it's not a cohesive story because who's the connecting character? C-3PO? Or is it R2-D2?
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. It's not a cohesive story because they didn't do a good job doing it. It shouldn't have been episodes 7, 8, and 9. It should have been a different story arc. They should have not married themselves to the original story and tried to carry it out.
If it was a spin-off, that'd have been fine. Like the Solo movie was fine, even though that's not Han Solo. It's fine as a movie.
It very easily could have been fine.
Yeah, the movie itself, the movie is fine on its own rights, but the fact that it's a Han Solo movie and that Han Solo is tied to the rebellion and the creation of the rebellion is fucking stupid. So that's where it gets really like retarded.
The entire story of that movie was simply taking lines of dialogue out of the original 4, 5, and 6 episodes and plugging in like plot points where it was
exposition.
It was lore. It was it's all exposition.
And then tie it into the birth of the rebellion because we need to do that somehow.
You want me to really ruin your night, Peter?
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Live action TMNT movie announced. Another film canceled.
Yep.
What does that mean?
The Ronin.
They canceled
it? Ronin is no longer being created.
Oh, that hurts.
Hey,
Ronin is canceled.
Fucking, oh my God. Do you know what? We don't deserve it. We don't deserve that fucking movie.
Well, it comes with Paramount's new merger with Skydance, and Paramount also trying to buy Warner Brothers at this point now.
Yeah, that's that indie. That's that fucking Saudi Arabia shit, right?
Yep.
Saudi Arabia buying WB.
Would have been a really good movie.
Well, Saudi's trying to go in there and buy Warner Brothers, but now Paramount Skydance is now getting ready to put $71 billion in the bag, in the hat, to try and get it from.
I predict 7,000 people lose their jobs as a result of that.
Oh, no doubt.
Dude, can you imagine how much money do you think a fucking Last Ronin live action movie that ties into the original fucking movie, how much money that would make?
Yeah.
Like That would be, in my opinion, up there with fucking Avengers Endgame or whatever the biggest fucking box office.
It would have been up there with that whichever one, the Spider-Man movie where they had all of the fan service.
Yeah,
it would have been up there with that one.
So it reads here that the Hollywood Reporter spoke to the powers that be over at Paramount, getting ready with the merger and everything, looking to make a new merger after Skydance with Warner Brothers.
Fuck their merger.
A live-action CG animation hybrid TMNT project based on the popular Last Ronin comic series was also previously reported to be in development. Now it's saying that it's been put back in the pizza box at this time. That project was being developed as an R-rated feature and had nobody filmmaker, Aya Nasher, whatever her name is, in talks to direct. But the new regime wasn't keen on having the first non-animated movie in 10 years be a bloody adult skewing story. One insider says the studio wants to leave the door open, possibly to revisit it down the road.
Okay,
So
maybe they're looking at the director going like, I don't know if this director is the right person for the job.
They're looking at it like that. This doesn't look like what fits into the most profitable possibility thing, and they're scared of taking a swing at a risky opportunity, and they're leaning into the same thing like how video games are doing live service. They're leaning into the sure thing, the moneymaker.
Alex,
Yeah.
what do you think about the Last Ronin live action movie?
I love Turtles, but I think from a business perspective, it's hard to sell because adults with money is great, but kids love Turtles, and Turtles now.
Deadpool and Wolverine did pretty damn good.
But that's the
kids
MCU. When again, outside of our age group, the last animated movie was fine. Like it did fine enough, but like I think that they're taking the safe route by doing it. I mean, I think you can't go wrong with PG-13. I mean, I don't think it necessarily has to be R, but like, why can't it be PG-13?
That's fair.
Well,
13's fine.
It could be rated R. That doesn't mean it has to go super gory. It could be rated because PG-13 was TMNT 2, where they weren't even allowed to use their weapons.
Well, the point is, it's Ninja Turtles. It doesn't have to be rated R. Right? Like, I get that. It doesn't have to be rated R. Why the fuck are we making a Ninja Turtle movie rated R? But
I mean, even the book is not that violent, so
it's not.
No.
It doesn't deserve to. It didn't need to be rated R. The reason they make it rated R is to sell tickets, right? It's a Ninja Turtle movie rated R because that's what we all want.
It's because the kids that grew up with the original movies are adults.
Yeah, and the original movie was like probably rated R by today's standards, right? So
you're talking to somebody that loves Turtles, dude. I mean,
dude, you're talking to somebody who loves fucking Turtles. I fucking grew up with Turtles. All right, don't even get me started. That fucking Turtles, but the original movie is what, PG-13? It should be rated R by today's standards, today's gay standards.
I think
it would be rated R.
At that point, it was still PG before they made the 13 rating. I could be wrong about that.
Well, because Raphael says, "Damn, that's rated R now," right? Because he says, "Wise man said, never pay full price for a late pizza." Well, that's bigotry. So by today's standards, that's a rated R fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we want because that's what we grew up with. So the Turtles aren't for kids these days. Get the next generation.
I don't care if it's PG, PG-13, G, or R. That's not what really matters. These are just labels.
Yeah, that's not what sells the tickets.
Is them to make the movie uninhibited. I don't want them to have to hold back on a story because some suit somewhere is saying, well, no, we'll sell more tickets if we hand Michelangelo some sausages instead of nunchucks.
Exactly. Yes. We need that's why the rated R fucking thing was so important. It was because it was meant for us, right? I guess you could say it's rated R, which means it's not for kids, it's for us. And because we have the original April O'Neil, we're gonna get an extenuation and a darker version of the ending of the Turtles, which is kind of what it needs to be. But if they want to sell super tickets and reinvigorate the Turtle franchise, then you know what? Fuck all the Last Ronin altogether. Let's just get into the next generation Turtles.
Well, they've with the new merger getting ready to take place, they also canceled the after the second season of Tales of the TMNT, the cartoon. It's made for Paramount Plus, but then it's going to be on Nicktoons, right? And after that second season, that's canceled. So I don't even know if they're going
Tales of the next sorry.
I don't even think it's going to get a sequel. I don't even think that
Tales of TMNT is based off that
sequel.
Seth Green dog shit. So
Seth
fuck it.
Rogen.
It needs
Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Yeah. Fucking like cancel that shit as soon as possible.
Well, they're
I don't
supposed to be
care.
doing a Last Ronin video game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that video game looked pretty cool.
you,
The
Mo.
trailer looked pretty cool. Like,
Did you play Shredder's Revenge?
yeah, so I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta love Shredder's Revenge.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. And the DLC is fucking awesome. And
I
it
thought
keeps
that-
coming.
I thought that Xbox One game, Mutant Mayhem, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, I thought that was an upgrade from the old GameCube games.
What was
based off the
Manhattan? No, Manhattan.
The Manhattan Project? That's
that the
NES.
one- That's the base off the IDW. That was a long time ago, but
Yeah, that
based
was
off,
I thought
that was the
based off
sequel to
Mirage.
the console arcade game.
yeah, but that was a good game though. Like that was a really
It
good
was an
turtle
upgrade,
game.
for sure.
Yeah, that was
But
like
what-
what PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
Have any of y'all played Hades?
No,
Oh,
I
I
haven't
have
played
not.
Okay,
I have
so
not.
there's a Turtles game that's called Splintered Fate that is basically Hades but with turtles.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
Hmm.
thing promoted around. It's like what do you call it?
It's a
A
roguelike.
strategy game. Where
Well,
it's,
there's another one. There's Tactical Takedown that's turn based.
Yep, seen that one too. I don't know if I really. I want more of the side-scrolling action stuff.
Yeah.
I want it to where 4 people can get on there, whoop some
Dude,
ass.
I
All
want
right,
to see
Turtle-
a serious
Shred-
sequel to the very first Nintendo game.
No, hold
No, I
on.
don't-
Oh, that'd be rough.
that at
But
all.
Shredder's
Yeah, it would be.
Revenge.
But that's what this generation needs.
Yeah, well, hold on.
They need the damn level.
My kids love Shredder's Revenge. I fucking love Shredder's Revenge. But it's not the arcade that I love. It's that fucking that time trial that whatever that is. It's like a side quest thing on. It's not a. What do you do? Like you're like buzzing through all the levels. You get all the fucking power ups and shit. It's not like a side. You're not going through
No,
the
you're
level.
you're talking about the Mutant Mayhem. That's what you're talking about.
No, it's on the Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, that's not it.
Have you played Shredder's Revenge?
Where you go in like the time? It's like the arena basically.
It's like an arena. Yeah, it's like a fucking Street Fighter, but it's in the format of the fucking side scroller, right? Like the arcade. But it's
Yeah.
like it's not moving through the level. It's like a fucking one spot.
Yeah. it's
Anyways, yeah, whatever that is, dude, we're fucking loving that. We've been playing that forever. And now they got Mondo Gecko and
Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa in the mix as a DLC character. I'm kind of like keep throwing DLCs in there. I fucking love Shredder's Revenge, and the fact that they keep throwing characters in the mix, like why are you waiting for the next one? Like let's get the fucking
Well, their
Neapolitan-
next game is Cosmic Invasion. It comes out in like 2 weeks. It's
what?
Marvel. It's
I did
Marvel.
not know that.
Yeah,
It's like a
dude.
sequel.
No, it's Marvel.
Marvel and Ninja Turtles.
No, it's just a Marvel game. It's the same studio is doing it, and it is in the same vein as Shredder's Revenge, but it's all Marvel characters.
Oh, so it's like the old
Okay.
X-Men arcade game.
It is, but like
Yeah,
some of the characters in it are like awesome. Like instead of Thor, it's Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer's in it.
Oh yeah, that'd be fucking cool,
It's
man.
Cosmic
An
Ghost Rider.
arcade. That's what we need, dude. We need some more arcade games.
dude, you should
Yeah,
check it.
yeah,
you should
you're right
check it
about
out,
that.
dude. Cosmic
Well,
Invasion looks
I was
dope.
keeping in tabs of that fucking Marvel, whatever that It's like a Capcom versus Marvel game, but Marvel, it was all Marvel characters, and this was like all the rage a couple weeks ago. But I've never seen this game in the marketplace. What was that game about?
It's not out yet.
Oh, but it's not out yet.
Yeah,
The game was like
the fighting game, the 4v4.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Marvel versus
Talking.
Marvel, whatever.
Yeah,
But
talking.
yes, but then there's no marketing. I've seen like 20 characters. I mean, in the modern technology, a game like Street Fighter, you should be able to have like 100 characters to choose from. I saw a Dragon Ball Z game that was like that, where you could actually manipulate the world around you, and you still had the option of like a fucking like 40 characters.
Yeah, but like 30 of them are Goku.
Yeah, and that's fine. But if 30 of them were Goku and you had 40 characters, the Marvel should be able to at least replace half of that with like
Spider-Man?
5 different characters. You know what I mean?
With 30 Spider-Man.
Yes. Spider-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, whatever. Who cares? Like the fact that like
You got to have like Tobey Maguire. You got to have Andrew Garfield. You got to have
and they all have different abilities.
the other one.
Mo Biggs says Stanley can finally whoop ass as Ironheart.
Fuck yeah, man. In this game, like a Marvel versus Capcom, but with all the characters, come on. We're on PS5 now. We're on like next generation consoles.
Dude, you're halfway to PS6. Like we're moving our way into the non-console generation.
So why are we wasting time with like these games with like no fucking environment? There's no rendering. There's no reason why these consoles have to fucking use all these resources to render a game unless you have 500 characters to choose from. You know what I mean? There's no like power coming from the system. It doesn't draw upon the system to render a 500-mile world. No, you have fucking we just need 40 characters to choose from. Yes, 100 characters.
I don't know. Piccolo is pretty cool.
The DBZ game may have 100 characters,
but it has 0 good characters.
That's true because it's got like 3 Gokus in each, 3 Vegetas. But the point is that was PS2, right? Now we're in PS5, PS6 territory. You should have like 200 Marvel characters to choose from.
Are you willing to pay for them?
With 0 lag.
Yeah, good call on that. Yeah, so how much of that is DLC? Like,
so you get 100 characters right off the bat.
$5 a piece.
You know what? No, you get 200 off the bat, and then you buy DLC variant costumes with maybe variant abilities, right? Like maybe Black Suit Spider-Man and then Spider-Man 2099. You're similar, but like one has this ability, one has that ability, right? You know what I mean?
Well,
so
I mean, most stuff is not made anymore to be like all in box. Like they've got to nickel and dime the shit out of you. So like, I'm a big Mortal Kombat guy, so like, you know, I already know when I'm buying the game.
So
like,
you feel it,
dude. So
like, what would you buy?
Did you pay for the Johnny Cage glasses?
Like half of them, I don't even like. What now?
You pay for like the Johnny Cage DLC glasses options.
Well, luckily they don't have that, but I've got to pay for like bullshit like Homelander and Omni-Man in my fucking Mortal Kombat game that I don't want. Peacemaker. Like
you see, that's the point. It's like,
and then the last one had Rambo and fucking
make the classic cartoon style
RoboCop and shit. Like I don't want that in there.
Like you don't need all this rendering ability, right? Just go back to Marvel Capcom 2.
Hey, if it's so easy, why don't you do it, bud?
They actually have it. If you look it up, you can actually fucking download this shit on Steam. Yeah. Thousands of characters. But if they're going to make a game, do the fucking Marvel Capcom 2 format, but then add 100 characters. And if you or 200 characters, the rendering for the ability that PS5 and 6 or whatever is going to have, there's no reason you don't have 100 characters in these games. So if it comes down to DLC, download the fucking different costume variants instead of unlocking them with you know what I mean? Like There's so many different costume variants for every character in Marvel. You can have that as DLC content. If you want special DLC content, then you get to buy Thanos and fucking Galactus or some shit, or Sentinel, or
Yes, but it's about player retention though.
Some
so if you release 12 characters and then they don't want you to drop the game, so they drop 4 more 4 months down the road, and then they'll drop 4 more another 4 months down because they want you to keep playing it, not
but I'm not playing. I'm not even buying PS5 at this point because they didn't make a game worth buying.
Bullshit.
Which one? Which one was worth buying?
Fucking Returnal is bad ass.
And that's worth paying $600 for a system plus the $60 for the game.
I mean, I love Ghost of Tsushima. I like Ghost of Yotei. I like Clank. I like Returnal.
So
this idea that PS5 has no games is just asinine.
No. What I'm saying was that PS5 has no games after you just bought a PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, and all the fucking games and consolated. And now we got a brand new fucking system. And
but that argument can be made for everything, though.
Of course it can. But what I'm saying is that, like, at what point you're like, okay, I'm not seeing a game in the PS5 that I'm willing to drop $600 for PS5 plus the $100 for the game and the DLC or whatever I need to fucking make that game enjoyable. There's not like at least 2 games on the PS5 that I'm like willing to spend over $1,000 to fucking invest in all this shit. I'm on a PS4 and I'm like, the games are like barely there for me right now.
I mean,
PS3 had like a pretty good range of games. PS4 had the option of VR, but then they fucked up with VR. They didn't even fucking give me the VR. I spent $300 on the VR and a couple games. Weren't worth it because they are not pursuing VR at this point. So why am I buying a PS5? And then they're putting a PS6. Why am I buying a PS6?
Well, we've had this conversation before because the PS6 isn't going to be viable until they put out a pro version.
Well, none of them are worth anything until they put out a pro version.
Hey, just build your own PC.
Yeah, that's the answer right there.
I play on PC mostly.
I'm done with these games. I'm just gonna fucking go do something else. I'm gonna just stick with PS2 at this point, PS3 or whatever. I'm still playing Ark.
Yeah, so I agree with that. And now I am looking forward to like Ark 2. There's some games like, so I agree with you on a lot of the things you're saying, Peter. I don't like the industry how it is right now with all those systems. I will say, if I had a fucking income right now, I would be in on the PS5, but it would be for like, you'd have like Grand Theft Auto, which not out yet, Starfield, and that entire Microsoft library that they're about to dump on the PlayStation. I'd be in on some of that. I would be in on probably Battlefield 6. They're starting to come out with some games now that it's like, okay, I can see how this would be something that I would be sustainable entertainment for me for several years.
Well, here's the problem I have with that. They did that to me with PS4. And it was Star Wars.
Me too. I got my PS4 during the pandemic, so you're preaching to the choir. Cyberpunk.
So that would have been Star Wars Battlefront that I played religiously for months until they fucking stopped supporting the servers, and now Star Wars Battlefront, the first game at least, completely new. Like it's in that you can't play that game. The Star Wars Battlefront 2, I think it's still going on, but at what point?
It's still going on, yeah, and they don't have plans for a 3 as of yet.
They even canceled Voodoo on PS4. Like they're canceling everything on PS4. That's a brand new system in my mind. So I understand if like PS3, like you want to cancel the servers on PS3, fine. PS4, you're canceling the Voodoo services for people like there's the streaming services, because why would you do that? In order
They want you to move to PS5.
They want you to push people to PS5, but there's no reason to go to PS5. There's not enough reason to like drop $1,000 just to go watch movies I bought on Vudu. I'll just get a fucking $30 Roku. Like, sorry, like there's not enough reason to drop fucking Voodoo on PS4 to
That's why I
push
watch
people
it.
to PS5. Like,
I
sorry,
watch
it's not
everything
there.
on the TV anyway. I watch YouTube on my TV. I watch my movies on my TV. Everything's on my TV nowadays, except for when
Yeah.
I have to live stream.
And are you familiar with Pluto? Pluto is like picking it up too, and Peacock and all these fucking free streaming services. It's like, if I'm not playing the games and I'm using the console, like I primarily do it for media, well then why push out something like Voodoo, or why push out all these streaming services? It makes no sense. Like, you're just trying to push somebody into something, and there's other options, so you're not really gaining anything.
Mo Big says, guys, I could play the new Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Madden. The system will only cost like $1,000. If you can even find one within 6 months of the launch, and the graphics will be like 10% better.
Yeah, and then in a year, you can sell it for $1. I worked at a game store where we had fucking games that came Madden. The Madden games are insane, dude. These Madden games would go for like $80. People would get the new Madden game on pre-order or whatever. They'll fucking like what do you call it? Scalp tickets for this game for like $100. And then
That's a different ball game entirely. The sports games.
5 months later, the 5 months later, that game's worth less than $1 to those fucking game stores.
That's stupid.
Alex,
the way that like EA has done, EA and 2K have done those things. It's just dumb.
Alex, how long and how many more issues of Polar Destroyer do we have to back before we get the video game?
Now, hold on a second. I'm talking. I'm just kidding. Go for it.
Shit, dude. I don't know. It's a pipe dream. I would love for it to happen.
Polar Destroyer 3, is that coming out on PS6 or PS7?
PC only.
Yeah, PC only.
Right answer.
Hey, to be fair, Polar
Tribalism up in
Destroyer,
here.
I could see like a fucking Duke Nukem fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I could see like
style.
Like a reskin. How hard would that be? And AI is getting up there. It's like we're like 2 years away from you just like telling AI.
They've already said Hugo doesn't do AI.
Whatever. Reskin it.
So, what can we expect in issue 3? Are we going to get any backstory, or are we just moving forward with these guys?
Well, we got to figure out, what's happened to Junior, what's going on there. And then obviously the big culmination is Timber versus Jack.
Yep.
And so we've got to get there. And also, like, as you know, with the cliffhanger of issue 2, there's some trust issues with Jack because Chris has not been exactly forthright about his ailments.
Right.
We noticed
that. We noticed that one.
It's a very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde relationship. That
is it?
It
because
is.
In the first issue, everybody's got red eyes, and then the second issue, everybody looks all innocent until the end of the second issue when everybody looks very sadistic.
Yep.
It's very telling, Alex, what's going on here. I saw sharp teeth in those elves.
Yeah. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't know. Those are that sharp teeth equals evil.
Not necessarily. Polar bears have sharp teeth.
These price points are fantastic.
Bears are evil.
You can get issue 1 and issue 2 for $5. You can get the variants for $8 each, but then you get the cozy bundle for $12.
Get that one right there. That Polar Destroyer 2
right
variant, Frederick Horning. Get this one.
If you're interested in the digital, go with Ko-Fi because Big Cartel charges me $6 a month to host a digital version, and Ko-Fi charges me nothing. So, if you want the physical, Big Cartel is probably the best place to get it.
Okay,
but if you get the cozy bundle, it also comes with a bonus. I'll throw it. I've got a bunch of like shit that I'll just throw in with it.
When we talked about these books, the step up from issue 1 to issue 2, the second you open issue 2, Holy shit!
Everything
dude.
is
Yeah, you
better.
can
in
tell a
issue
big
2.
difference.
Everything is instantly better, and the colors pop, and I was like blown away. I was like, "Fuck yeah, man!"
Yeah, I issue 1 is very special to me because I did it, and then but issue 2, I feel like genuinely like it is every step of the way better.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
where you like
both
started
my
coming into
writing,
your own.
yeah, my writing, the art, everything got better. So now there's an expectation with issue 3.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about last episode. Now you got the fucking standards. You know what I mean? That was the problem with having like the end battle set at the beginning of the 1st
Mhm.
issue. Is that like you've upped the bar to the point where it's like, are you above that end battle? You know, at a certain point, you've got to like somehow keep that end battle. I don't even know what I'm saying. Like, you might have fucking set yourself up for failure by having that end battle at the beginning because,
Not the end. There's more after it.
well, sure, but now you've got to build up to that moment without going over the top because you still got that, basis of comparison. And then you can move forward after that, but you can't have him like lose his head or like have people lose their an extra appendage or anything. It has to be very planned out. Even a scratch on the face. Where's that scratch on the face in the 1st issue? You know what I mean? Like,
Again, yeah. Oh, I know it's all there. I got lots of
Yeah.
notes. I got lots of notes.
I gotta tell you, Polar Destroyer 1 and 2 were bangers, dude. I love both of them. I read them
fucking A,
both,
man.
one right after the other when I was at work. Couldn't get enough of them. And it's not that they were quick reads; it's that they were fun reads that you wanted to continue the story.
I did read them fairly quickly, and I was like, when I wanted more. And it's not
Yeah, I
like
read
there
them
wasn't
3
enough
times.
to read.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate byproduct of comics anyways, is it's months and months and months, if not years of work, and it takes 10 minutes of
Yeah.
Hey,
I hear
don't
that.
knock it. Your book was an acceptable read time. There are books that took me 10 minutes to read 3 issues, and I was like, this book
books
is
that I
not worth
really like. I'll go back and look at the art after I read it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, 100%.
I try to set myself up in a moment like around the fireplace where I can enjoy the book and the reading and everything all at once. It's like the ideal environment, but I might have to do a couple of books. So there are books where I might have to do a couple takes to get the entire book to embrace it. But Polar Destroyer, I was able to do that in a solid read. Like, I want to say I like embraced this book and read it, both issues, in like an hour or two. Like reading it, embracing the artwork, reading it again, kind of going through and really soaking it all in. Couple of hours.
Well, I'm glad you
Which
dug
is
it.
good.
I appreciate it.
Back Polar Destroyer 1 and 2. The link
Yeah.
is right there in the chat up at the top.
Yeah, go buy it. If you buy it,
Go get
if as soon as that order comes in on the email, I'm putting it in a Gemini mailer and getting it out.
And it is
There you go.
totally
Fucking
fucking worth it, dude. These
I don't
books
wait.
rock. They're fucking cool.
It's almost like I don't want people to like order it and then be like, no.
Right.
Get that one in the middle right there. That fucking Polar. If you can get that one, get that one. This is a cool. The Nam cover.
Yeah.
Fucking A, dude.
And now
Badass.
you can get the fuck out of here because we're